Good morning. Thank you both and all of you for being here this morning. A couple questions. A couple years ago, as you know, we did the Basic Education Funding Commission, and we have established a new funding formula, which has helped many districts. But as you know, we still have some more work to do. So anytime we're looking at dollars and new appropriations, my mindset is always, could we use some of these dollars towards getting us into even a stronger position with that funding formula? The only new education line item that I see requested is a $7 million appropriation called Transfer to Empowerment, which would provide funding for assistance to school districts in financial recovery or watch status. So the past several years, the school code has already allowed the department to utilize up to $7 million for undistributed funds or uncommitted funds for grants or subsidies, just for this very reason. So what is the need for the additional appropriation?
Yep. Great question. When we look at our empowerment or schools that are deemed eligible for recovery under the empowerment line item, those are schools that meet a certain criteria set by the General Assembly and administration. So there's a process behind those schools, and this is the funding we use to provide systems of support, kind of boots on the ground to help them engage in everything from level setting accounting to facilitating the report. We are able to use carryover funds year to year. Over the course of the past 5 years, the collective we, all of us, we've identified more schools in recovery or watch. So we're not as confident as we used to be that we're going to have the funding and carryover, year to year carryover to meet that obligation. So we're just asking to create an appropriation for the empowerment line item that will support the schools that the General Assembly administration identify as in need of recovery or watch.
Okay, and so with that, according to this year's state accounting system, there's nearly $200 million in unexpended funds from prior PDE budgets that's still available. Can you transfer any of these dollars to the Empowerment Restricted Fund? And if so, if the details of that $200 million as well. If you can't transfer that, what are we doing with that $200 million as well? As I dig for further funds, of course.
No, of course. And I'll let Danielle kind of, some of it will go to some of it was answered with the question we answered earlier in terms of the spreadsheet, but she can share the more nuance around transferring.
So again, the $7 million line item is not a request for additional funds, but that it would be a line item rather than the remainder or the carryover, as the Secretary pointed out. Some of that money can be transferred, others cannot. The balances we have that we refer to them as subsidy balances are typically, I believe, what's permitted to be moved for the purpose of empowerment. And those dollars also go to other needs as well, making adjustments to, various from audits, paying PRRI schools, which must be audited before they're paid. So a lot of it can be a timing issue in terms of available dollars. Those are numbers that frequently change, and depending on when you're looking at them. And as he pointed out, we've discussed the fact that what's waived on the waiver then often is both committed and available balance.
But so there still is $200 million that has not been utilized, and it could change. Like you said, the numbers can change throughout the year depending on when you look at it.
So I think we said that we would provide a more detailed accounting of the balances that exist and the requirements around them. I think that might get to your question.
That would be very helpful. Thank you. I know it's a big question for the short period of time that we have, and my time is almost up, but I'm going to ask one other question. I know Deputy Secretary has worked with me on this as far as AEDs, automatic external defibrillators. We do have a current registry that we are supposed to have fulfilled by the school districts as far as who has it and who doesn't, and I know this has been a constant battle, but I know it doesn't appear to be any sort of responsibility to reply from the school districts, whether or not they have an AED or they don't on site. Is there any thought or any works on this?
Sure. No, thank you for that question. And again, this falls into the same category of keeping kids safe being our top priority. And, you know, as you've shared with us and we've worked together, that legislation comes from a tragic situation that happened with a student. And so what I can tell you is that our reporting is improving. One of the things that we've made a priority in that division is to improve the reporting from our schools. You're correct in saying that we don't have, there's no penalty provision for a district that doesn't report, but our team has taken upon themselves to be appropriately aggressive in soliciting those reports from schools, and we'd be happy to follow up with you on that, but our reporting is improving.
Thank you. And any way that I can help in this effort is something that is very important. Thank you so much.
Yeah.